It's the Church Solutions Podcast, and my name is Elmer Thud.
And I am Aasky Wabbit.
There you go. You know, it's kind of funny when the Iraq war broke out in, what was it, 1990, 91 or something?
Yeah.
You know, the first one. My good friend, I was in radio at the time, and my good friend Adam Colwell, was doing the news, and it was breaking news, and he got so excited he called it wacky warplanes have been destroyed. That's Aasky Wabbit. So it was kind of funny. So we always have a laugh about that once in a while. So I'm Phil Thompson. He's Steve Lacy. This is episode number 498, and Steve has been delegated to his bedroom now. He's been kicked out of his office.
I have. I've got number 3 son and his family moved in with us, so it's been kind of fun. My wife's out of town, so it's been good. It has been really good. So, but he's working out of my office, and he is noisy when he works, and we're kind of noisy when we do this podcast. So we had to. Yeah. I moved into my bedroom. I have a kind of a portable setup that is actually where it all began. When I first left my day job and was doing this full time, I set up office in my bedroom. So,
well, there you go. Yeah. And we've always worked out of our homes and our own offices, and even before COVID, and it's been good. Of course, I used to come over when we would do these podcasts. I would sometimes come over to your place, and we'd do it like in your kitchen or living room or something with microphones set up. And then we also did them at my place.
So we had our portable studio. We still have our very expensive high-end equipment, mixers and microphones and all kinds of good stuff.
From Michael Gray. Before even Michael worked with us, he loaned it to us. I never gave it back.
All right.
Your video doesn't look too good, but I don't know. Maybe it'll look good once we produce this thing.
It will be better by 2 to 6 p.m. today.
All right. So, yeah. Yeah, you're getting the camera I bought finally. I struggled for years with a cheap webcam, and I struggled with lighting. It was an issue with lighting, and plus it didn't help because the background here I didn't have these pads up here, and so the background is dark at the time, and the lighting and the camera didn't like it, and I was always adjusting lights and trying to do things to make the picture look better. And then one day I saw my wife, she did a podcast in her office, and she looked terrible, and not because she's not attractive, she's a very attractive woman, but because her camera was awful. So I bought this eMeet camera for her. It's eMeet, what did I say, S600 or something, got on Amazon. And I tried it here, and I thought, wow, this thing really looks good. And so then I kept it. I didn't give it to her, and I ended up giving her my other webcam, which was an improvement, though what I gave her was an improvement over what she had. But I need to get something like this for her for Christmas because she's actually going to start doing podcasts.
Yeah, well, my son is a professional, and he was showing me some of his setup. He's got a very expensive, probably, I don't know, $1,000 camera. I don't know.
Ooh, really?
Very nice Sony on a deal, and he pointed out, but before he turned his light, he has his own lights and he has his own little studio thing. But he turned the camera on with our bedroom light on, and it looked terrible. And he was pointing out that with a really good camera, you've got to actually have good lighting. He says it's not. He said you don't want to spend your money first on the camera. You want to spend your money first on lighting. And he's got a really good lighting setup. So he turned the lights on. Right. And it was like, wow, it looked really good. But you turn the lights off, and we were shadows in the dark. So,
but we're not talking about cameras today. Maybe we should. But I don't know. I'm just telling you what I found. This thing works really nice, and anyhow, I don't have to deal with the lighting, but that's interesting that you said that he had.
Yeah, it was. I didn't know that. He said he was pointing it out. He goes, "Here, watch me turn the lights off." And we had just like a light bulb over in the bedroom, lighting the bedroom, which was not really good. It was nighttime, but we just looked. We were all red and just you could barely see us. And then he turns on, one of his 2 or 3 floodlights, and it's like, wow, it's like night and day.
And that's a web. So is that a webcam that he has, or is that something different?
I'm sure it's a USB camera. It's got a lens on it that, like, you would anticipate a DSLR. So I mean, it's got a big round, professional lens on it. I don't know if it's a Sony lens or whatever, but I don't know. I'll have to ask him. It mounts on its own little stand. I'm sure it's USB. And he said, do you know your way around OBS? And I was like, as a matter of fact, I do. And so he starts showing me, and I quickly realized that I'm nowhere in his league at all. He's got all these scenes set up. And I said, I know how to set up the stream, because we help people set up the stream all the time. But as far as using all the bells and whistles of OBS with the different layers and stream scenes and all that stuff, he's got, here's this view, here's this one with the captions down below, here's the scene. He does he does it for a living, so he does a very good job at it.
And what does he do for a living, just so our listeners are curious?
He is a YouTube influencer, is basically what it is. I was reading an article on 60% of kids these days want to be YouTube influencers. And he didn't start out that. He's an engineer, but he left his software engineering job to pursue his passion. He is a commentator, promoter, announcer, facilitator for a online video game called Rocket League. His name is Fear, and we spent some time last night, and he's got a name for himself. So
wow, well, good for him. I was looking at, speaking of bad video, I was looking at one of our first podcasts, video podcast, you and I sitting on the futon. It's on YouTube, I guess. It's not I don't know if it's in our media vault here, but it's on YouTube. It's in the media vault too?
It's in the media vault.
Yeah, it is in the media vault. Although it wasn't, I mean, it's in the media vault and it shows up as being years later, but I think we did it before it's even listed, as far as the date.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But the video, it was pretty bad video. All right.
Well, things have come a long way.
They have. And I'm sure people are wondering, what are we doing today here? We're supposed to be talking about the holiday season and Thanksgiving. Speaking of looking things up, so today we're going to talk about Thanksgiving ideas for streaming. And actually, as I want to say this right now, you could use some of these ideas, probably all of them, for Christmas too. So if you hear this podcast or watch this podcast, too late to do the things we suggest for Thanksgiving, you could probably do them for Christmas. But I do want to say too that I lost my train of thought. But I think that we're at 498. We got 2 more to do the 500, and nobody really cares except us about 500. So if anybody has some ideas on what they want us to talk about for 500, you've got a little bit of time to let us know. Just go to streamingchurch.tv. And you can
Here's my pontificating on cameras before we kill that subject to death. Things have really, as you look at the evolution of cameras, and we've kind of lived it. We had terrible equipment, and everyone was struggling to become professional and get professional equipment and professional lighting. And now everyone kind of got there, and that kind of fell out of favor as being it's inauthentic. And so the bar has kind of changed around. So let's go get these less expensive cameras that actually do 10 times the job that the cameras we originally were using.
That's true.
But they become, it's much more authentic approach. So going to a lower, you just don't have to spend the money to get the quality that you needed. I mean, back 15, 20 years ago, you had to spend a chunk of change to get and people could tell, like, wow, it looks terrible. But today you can spend very little, less than $100 on some things, and
Yeah.
and
Well,
have
and
it look decent.
we're going to actually talk a little bit about that and some of our ideas here too. So,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's a good point to bring up. But yeah, um, the last time we did a podcast about Thanksgiving was 5 years ago.
All
So I mean, we
right.
haven't done it for a while. So I thought,
We are
oh,
not
this will
very
be good.
thankful.
All right. So before we talk about some ideas for Thanksgiving for your church, I do want to say this is also a good time to say that it's a good opportunity to make sure all your streaming stuff, your equipment and your networks and everything you use for streaming is up to date and working like you want it to. Because, if you do streaming video, there's going to be people gone for the holidays, but they got to want to watch the stream, either live or recorded. And that obviously holds true for Christmas and New Year's and all that. So this would be a good time. It's right now. We're about, what are we, about 9 or 10 days away from Thanksgiving here when we're recording this in Tucson, Arizona. It's good now to look into some of this stuff. Make sure you're up to speed on everything. Take the opportunity to check some things out, because you want to kind of make sure you're good to go, because the last thing you want to do, during the holidays and you're streaming something or doing video, something's not working.
Yeah. I was just
So,
reading an article this morning. I think we're supposed to set records again for the number of travelers going 50
yes.
miles or more
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
holiday season. So
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't want to go there, but yeah, I hate that. But anyhow, I just don't. The airport delays and all that just drives me nuts.
I mean, the percentages, I can't remember what it was, but it was really high of people that are going to be traveling.
Yeah.
For
They're traveling.
So people aren't going to be at church, so they'll want to. That's a great opportunity. They're getting with family, and they say, "Hey, check out my church service."
Yeah,
And,
So you want everything to work. So here are some ideas. And again, if you can't use these right now, you can use them for Christmas or something else. So the first one I put on the notes here was you could do some creative things here, getting ready for Thanksgiving. Pre-record maybe just some short video clips from various church members sharing something they're grateful for, something they're thankful for. And when we say short, I'm telling you 30 seconds or 60 at the most. Okay. And again, you were talking about cameras,
per person,
Steve.
you mean?
Per person. Yeah.
Yes.
And you were talking about cameras and all that good stuff. You can use your iPhone, you can use your Android phone, you can upload it to YouTube, or you can upload it to Streaming Church, whatever, but you could do some of these things, and you could use them as maybe some bumpers, maybe an intro. You could put it in before the service starts, or maybe even incorporate it in your service. Maybe your pastor, talking about being grateful or whatever. You could run the video for people to see in the worship center as well as online. But there's some really, they've made it. You were talking about how easy it is now. It's easier now than ever to edit and to do these things, and you don't have to have anything really super special. You can just do it on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll probably want to do that this weekend if you're going to, set up an area at church and say, hey, we're recording, just invite people to walk over and do quick, what are you thankful for? Just, impromptu, unrehearsed,
right,
quick, off the cuff is going to be the best kind of deal.
And I like what you suggested. Designate a place for it. You know what I mean? Have it somewhere, and maybe put a sign up or do something, or make an announcement saying, "Hey, we'd love to hear what you're grateful for this season. When the service is done, come on over. And we'll do third." But again, I want to emphasize: keep it short. Because that's hard to do, because some people want to go on, just really tell them 30 to 60 seconds, just make it short and sweet. And then you can use these videos various places online or social media, those kind of things. It's just a nice little thing to do.
All right. So you get into this next one. Well, actually, the third one's going to be interesting for me, but the second one is about hosting a Thanksgiving meal. I mean, I guess our church hasn't done that in decades. And I only pretty much go to my church. So,
yeah. Well,
Is it a thing? Are people out there hosting meals?
yeah, there is. There are. When I was in Kansas at the Ministerial Alliance that I was a part of, yeah, there are definitely uh, churches doing it, and they open. Now they may not do it on Thanksgiving. It might be the day before, but there are
Oh,
churches
okay.
doing that, and yeah, during the day. I mean, during Thanksgiving, not always the most popular time.
No, that would be, I would think that would not going to work at all because
Yeah,
everybody's with their family.
right.
They're not going to want to go, oh, let's go drag Aunt Martha up
Yeah.
to church, with us. Or,
Although although Mary Kay and I have talked about doing it, going to the Gospel Rescue Mission and helping them pass out stuff on Thanksgiving. We didn't really care.
yeah.
But then again, we don't have like the tribe you have. You have a whole army of people
Oh, yeah.
show up at your place. But yeah, so, again, if your church is hosting something like that, or again, if it's Christmas time coming up here, you you could stream it live. Again, or you could record it, use it later. But it's nice to show the community getting together, especially if you're doing it in a neutral location. I mean, there are some small towns have community centers that you can rent, or they'll even make it available for you free of charge, and you can actually host it at a community center, and just make sure you let people know about it, and then you can, with their permission, you can video some of that and do it live, or again, record it and use it again.
All right. So your number 3 item here is about streaming your main Thanksgiving worship service. What, do people do that? That's a new thing. Our church has never done a Thanksgiving service that I'm aware
Well,
of.
yeah, I don't think so either. So when I was on staff, I don't think we ever did that. Again, some churches do it.
Yeah.
Uh, there's. I've always been non-denominational, but I've had, like I was referring to earlier, I really got to know a lot of mainline denominations when I was in Kansas, and
Yeah.
some of those guys did some of that stuff, and so. Again, it allows families who are traveling or hosting guests to participate and virtually. You could again. It's all about, you got to use streaming video, not just, our friend Kenny Zhang talks about no more cutting and pasting, but try to make it interactive and try to make it where you're including people, and it's not just you're talking at them, but they can see what's going on. So when you're streaming something or recording something, interaction during the Thanksgiving meal, again, maybe even talking to some people about what they're grateful for. All these kind of things can help show a sense of community awareness to your church, your congregation, especially if you do it publicly and you promote it publicly. So it's not just your people, but it's people, that are coming from the community. So I don't know, just something to
Yeah.
think about.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Yeah. So I know I every year pretty much look into a lot of the I don't know, podcasters or newsletters that I subscribe to also will run videos on the history, the biblical foundations of Thanksgiving,
Right.
and how the tradition was achieved, how it's evolved over the years, and what the first one was like. And I always find that stuff pretty interesting. So
Yeah. And that's the fourth point here, right?
Yes.
You can create some pre-recorded or maybe some live narrated video that does talk about the biblical foundations for Thanksgiving, how the American tradition evolved. Our friends up in Canada have already celebrated Thanksgiving. And again, like you just mentioned, some of the stuff you could use for free. I mean, it's not like you have this element production. It's, I got to produce all this stuff our own, and we're never going to do that. Well, no, I'm not saying you have to. All I'm saying is there's content out there that you can get probably for free or next to free.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think some of it they may just allow you to run them. A lot of them are probably they post them to YouTube and stuff. So
yeah,
I would think.
And we're not just talking video, we're talking some visual stuff, graphics, some images, stuff that you could put on your live stream or your recorded stream.
Or you could just include it as I'm sure there's bumper slots in that they, that all the different services that sell before, the pastor comes up between worship,
Right.
whatever, that would have, good little
Yeah.
2-minute history of the
Yeah.
tradition of
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Bumper, and by bumper, we're talking about the transition between whatever happens in the service. I mean, your church does that all the time. Some churches don't, but it's a good idea to consider that. I mean, if your church doesn't do, if there's a gap between, the music and the pastoring or the announcements, if there's some kind of a gap, you could run a little 2-minute, what we call bumper video on the screens, and it would add to your
biblical
service.
foundations of Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure.
So all that stuff is it adds to what you're doing, and that's all we're trying to do here with this. What we talk about today with this podcast, it's going to add to what you're doing. And again, I keep banging this drum. You could do it for Christmas, so it wouldn't be Thanksgiving necessarily, but there's a lot of this stuff you could use content for Christmas stuff, and probably even more so.
So speaking of content, you listed a reference in our 6th point here for Thanksgiving, and I visited it before we started recording, and it looks like it's a lot of fun stuff as well. Yeah. So ourchurch.com, who we have a long relationship with, has put together some resources for Thanksgiving, which is a lot of YouTube videos mainly, right? Some of them are pretty funny.
Yeah, some of them are funny, some of them aren't, some of them are whatever. But our church, OUR church, OU all one word, ourchurch.com. And I think if you go ourchurch.com/blog, they have a blog, and that way you can look at their blog stuff, and you'll see some funny, I think they call it funny, inspiring videos. You know me, I'm so serious. I never joke around. I'm never sarcastic. But I like lightening things up, and so some funny, inspirational
some good ones in there. I was just seeing the thumbnails of them, but how not to prepare your Thanksgiving turkey, and shows them like burning half the house down, kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's people that do the deep fry. You ever have a deep fry turkey thing? Where you dump the turkey in a fryer?
Yeah, I know people have done it, but I don't know if I've ever had one.
My first experience, our off-road club. Yeah, our off-road club in Kansas, when I was in Kansas pastoring, we started this off-road Jeep club. It wasn't just Jeeps, as anything. And we had a Thanksgiving deal. It was pretty cold out, but outside we had this big fryer, and with the oil in it, and the guy dumped the turkey in there, and you're like, whoa, the things popping and everything, sparks flying. But it was really delicious. It turned out to be really good. Now, I've seen videos of disasters of people deep frying turkeys. It's been a disaster. They burned a turkey or they burned a house down. But the deep fryer, it's not a bad little thing. I'm tempted to do it, but I just don't have a deep fryer. I don't really want to buy a deep fryer.
I can imagine. There's a lot of oil and a lot of bird there.
But it was good. It was really good. If anybody's listening or watching this, if you've done it, let us know. I'd like to see how it turned out. Yeah, so ourchurch.com, it got some good content, and again, if you like to do some lighthearted stuff, again, you can post it on Instagram, social media, other social media platforms, besides your church, besides your live stream.
And I know I subscribe to their newsletter, and I almost always read it. So you should check out their newsletter too, because it's always got some useful stuff. So
Paul's got some good stuff.
They got a good sense of humor too.
They do. We've posted some of his stuff. We've reposted some of his stuff on our blog. So over the years, but so with his permission. All right. So as we wrap up here, one of the things there's a couple of things that need to really emphasize, and that is, and I know we just had a discussion about this, you and I and Mike yesterday, but I still want to promote having an online host during your live streaming events. And I just think it's, maybe I'm a dinosaur about this, but I really think having somebody there to be your host while you're streaming live helps viewers connect. You can offer prayer. You can even solicit, hey, tell us what you're grateful for in the live chat, because we're talking live chat here. We're not talking a host necessarily being on video, although that's what I used to do when I was at your church. I was on video we'd do the breaks and stuff from the worship center. We'd come back into me, and go back and forth. But, in the live chat, you could solicit some great comments and on what they're grateful for. And you can do this for Christmas as well. So I just want to encourage you to, if you can do that, have somebody that can be your host. We used to call it web host, but online host. And again, it helps people connect.
Yeah. I draw the parallel to a lot of churches have a greeter out front, and that just kind of enables the connections as people, come into the service, and web host does the same kind of thing. Yeah. Just kind of greases his kids to say, hey, how's it going? And
I would encourage it. All right, wrapping up here. Another option that you might want to do for Thanksgiving or even Christmas. This is kind of turning into a holiday podcast, but you could record your stuff, your live stream or whatever, or create a video and use Simulated Live. And so, you could stream something Thanksgiving Day. You're using, we have Simulated Live, and it's easy to use. You don't even have to have anybody by the church. You don't have to have a live encoder going. You can just upload the video to what we have at streamingchurch.tv and run it. But again, it's a great tool, and I'm sure other companies have something similar.
Yeah. Yep. And you don't have to be there. You could schedule it today to run after Thanksgiving and never open the doors of the church and just have it roll and have a real live service on any day of the week.
Yep. And last but not least, always want to encourage people, follow up with your viewers. Obviously, especially new people that might be viewing, follow up with them, ask for if they need any prayer, just offer something, not that you're trying to get them to join your church if they're new, but at least just be there for them to pray with them. And even your regular people, I think it's good to follow up a little bit with them. And again, if you don't have a tool like we have at streamingchurch.tv, as I self-gloss, that you could certainly do some of that stuff on social media too. We've talked about this before. So many churches use social media, but then somebody puts a comment in and nobody follows up with them, and it's like, well, that doesn't do a lot. And so I just want to encourage you to be on your toes, follow up with your viewers, follow up with anybody that connects with you on social media. It makes a big difference.
Yep, exactly. And it's they have no excuse if they're working with us. You just turn it on. We have automated follow-up that will send a personalized note based on who they are and how often they've been and when they came and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done here. This is some ideas for Thanksgiving. So hope people can take advantage of some of this for Thanksgiving. If not this year, maybe next year. Or use some of these ideas for Christmas. Christmas is coming up. Can you believe 2025 is almost out, almost over?
Oh, I know. I was just telling my son, I said, I just put the Christmas decorations away and got to go get them back out in a week or two.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's not my favorite thing to do, but oh well, we'll see. My wife had major spine surgery almost, I guess, 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if how much she's going to be into.
I'm destined, doomed forever. With all the grandkids, they're going to want to make sure that we decorate. And I'll have you know, we have won a prize the past 3 years for one of the better, I wouldn't call it best, better decorated homes in our neighborhood. Our HOA hands out prizes, cash prizes. Wow.
Cash? Holy cow. But you live in Oro Valley. There's lots of cash floating around Oro Valley.
I first showed up in the mail. I was like, what is this all about? And I was like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have put myself at our house in the top half at all, but I don't know. I guess they like it. Well, we do one thing.
How much cash did you win?
$50.
I want to know the money part. $50? That ain't bad.
We've won
That's not a bad little
3 years in a row.
Where does this money come from?
It's my money.
Yeah, you're just getting your money back. Yeah.
I paid to the HOA, and they're encouraging people to decorate. Well, they do a big deal. We have a horse-drawn hayride every Christmas through the neighborhood.
That's right.
Checking out the lights. and the horses come right down our street, and we're always there decorated, and not everyone participates. I would say most don't now. So I think they're trying to keep us encouraged and keep us putting the lights up.
Of course, Winter Haven in Tucson, Winter Haven always has a big thing, but I've heard less and less people are participating at Winter Haven.
Oh, I don't know about that. We've been a couple of years ago. It was packed.
Well, I mean, people decorating their homes. I've been there. It's been a few years, and some homes were dark.
Oh, yeah?
But I don't know. I don't know much about that stuff. But again, it's crowds, and so I try to stay away from crowds.
Yes.
But I've been there. But yeah. All right. I guess we're done here. So look, if you would like to know a little bit more about streaming video or check out some of the resources we have about streaming video, as well as some other things, just go to streamingchurch.tv/resources. And you can just scroll down that page. You can see there's a link to our blog. There's a link to the Church Solutions podcast, which is this. There's links to our webinars that we've had. We haven't had one for a couple months, but we'll start it back up again, I'm sure, next year in 2026. And there's just a lot of things that we have available for you and your church. And check it out. Hopefully you'll get something out of it.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. He's Steve Lacy. I'm Phil Thompson. We want to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving. We'll probably do another. Are we going to do another podcast before Thanksgiving? I don't know. Maybe not. But we want to wish you and your family a really wonderful Thanksgiving. And we're very thankful for you listening. And if we can help you in any way, please reach out to us. Please take care of yourself and each other. And we'll catch you again on another episode of the Church Solutions Podcast.